this is gonna be home for tonight. I cheated. I brought some dry firewood to get stuff going in case everything was soaking wet. So anyway, gonna get camp set up. I'm under these trees pretty good. I don't think I'm gonna have to mess around and put my awning up. I like to put my awning up because if it rains at night, I wake up and I'm not out in the rain making coffee, so I think it's gonna be pretty good. So we'll get the camp set up and show you what things look like when we're done. Oh yeah, somebody's got a bunch of firewood here. It should burn. Not a bad little place there. A lot of protection from all these pine trees. And the good thing is they're all alive. There's no widowmakers. You always got to be aware of dead trees. That's the last thing you want to do is set your camp up around dead trees. All right, that's that. Let the bed pump up. So this tent, if you're not familiar with it, this is a North Face VE25. This was the standard tent on Mount Everest for many years and lots of mountaineering expeditions. I've had this thing for 35 years. It survived. Done some pretty hardcore backcountry ski expeditions in this. Survived 30 below weather, 20 below weather. It's always served me good, but you can't get a better winter tent. Except tonight's gonna have a diesel heater pointed in it, so I'm gonna have like the Taj Mahal. All right, get this diesel heater set up. I've used my diesel heater in my rooftop tent on our overland trailer. And I used it sleeping in the car last week in Canada, but never in a tent. I think it's gonna work pretty good. The lithium battery is gonna go in the vestibule because the whole tent's gonna be heated. I got a harsh lesson in Canada 3 weeks ago about cold weather and lithium batteries. I wish I would have bought a lithium battery that had an internal heating element. I'm gonna end up having to purchase one. But anyway, it is what it is, but I got to keep it warm so that way it'll work better. This baby is a 100 amp hour lithium battery. To me, this is way better than using, you know, one of the major solar generators. One, because of cost. You don't have everything built into it, but this thing will run this heater for probably 5 or 6 nights easy. So it's got a lot of capacity. And if I'm not doing this in the summer, I'm using this to run my refrigerator in my JK when I don't have it plugged into the vehicle. All right, get my wrench here. The diesel heater is so much better. A lot of you are already familiar with them probably, but we use this tent a few times with our little butane Cupid heater. The whole inside of the tent is soaking wet in the morning. That's fine if it's one day, and then we're gonna go home and dry it out. But like tomorrow, I'm gonna break down and travel. The last thing you wanna do is be putting away a soaking wet tent and then have to like repitch it again. And nothing's drying in this environment. Once it's wet, it's staying wet, unless you do something, you know, to get it dry. So anyway, diesel's a lot better than propane, that's for sure. All right, this one's a freebie. Here's a little cold weather tip. If you haven't spent time winter camping, this is just a cheap closed cell foam pad. I have an X-Ped. I finally broke down and bought one. They're like 225 bucks. I have every kind of sleeping pad known to mankind. From Big Agnes, Thermalrest, you name it, portable cots. This X-Ped is great. And I don't get paid to say that. But if you're sleeping on the ground, the pad's gonna get wet. You need to insulate it from the ground. Put this under whatever sleeping pad you have, some kind of cheap foam. It'll work like a condensation mat and keep you from waking up at the bottom of your sleeping pad all wet. So that's your winter tip. Here's a little tip about diesel heaters. It's getting dark here. So this is inside my vehicle in a bucket. Disadvantage of diesel, the stuff reeks. If you spill it on something, the smell ain't coming out. I watched a review with Rob on Revere Overland, and he spilt it in his Toyota. So he wasn't really recommending diesel heaters for cold weather, but the problem is when propane gets cold, it doesn't work very good and it puts off tons of moisture. And so there's a way around it. I got a bucket at the sporting goods store. I got window trim adhesive inside of here. So when I seal this, it's airtight. And when I travel, this is not 100% full. I've got a gas can on the outside. Don't carry any diesel fuel inside your vehicle. If I didn't have a gas can when I went to Canada last week, the cans were inside my trasharoo. I'd rather stink up my trasharoo than inside of my vehicle. So if you want to carry this inside of a vehicle, get in the bucket. Make sure you have an airtight container. I haven't smelled any diesel from this on 2 trips now, so it's definitely doable. More winter tips. You know, if I think of more stuff, I'll tell you. I mean, some of you have a lot of winter camping experience probably, but I've spent the better part of my life winter camping. You know, I'm going to be 64 soon. I grew up in Michigan. At the age of 14, I would cross-country ski into the woods in the winter. My dad would let me, and go rabbit hunting and camp. I've done a lot of mountaineering, some pretty hardcore backcountry ski expeditions. So I spent most of my life in the winter. And winter can be fun, but there's some things you can do right, some things you can do wrong. You know, clothing, things like that. But if I think any more tips, I'll try to pass them along. Hope they're not redundant if you already know this. A lot of folks don't. They're a little apprehensive about going winter camping. It doesn't have to be miserable. It's beautiful in the winter. Like right now, there's absolutely no sound. It's so quiet here. It's unbelievable. I just love it. And I think you would too if you haven't done it. You just got to get the right gear and kind of learn the ropes like any other, you know, hobby or sport. All right, that's the tip. Well, this is home for tonight. Don't get much better than this. You know what? I think I'm going to treat myself. I haven't done this for a long time camping. I brought my shaker and some olives, and guess what I'm going to do with that? I'm going to make myself a dirty martini. How about that? That's going to be good around the campfire. Man, it's beautiful here. Some of the fog is burning off a little bit. The moon's out over here. Oh yeah, it's cold. It's winter. So I'm gonna get myself a martini made. Go sit by this fire. You know, it seems like it's 9 o'clock, but it's dark. I don't even know what time it is, but I got some really good ribeye for tonight, some portobello mushrooms, some asparagus. So I'm gonna make myself a killer steak tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. So anyway, I'm gonna grab this camera here and show you some more scenes. Let's see. Zoom out here a little bit. This light, I've got to buy myself a good camera. So the moon's coming out over here. I can't really see it too good yet. Zoom in over there. So yeah, it's not a very good picture. I think you can see a little bit when it's darker. That's some real professional photography. So anyway, got my kitchen set up, tent set up, diesel heaters ready to go for tonight, and a lot of the wood here is just soaking wet. So that's all right. Once I get some coals going, it'll burn fine. I'm gonna have to walk into the trees where there's no snow, find some wood. So turn this around here. And that obnoxious light. All right, I'm gonna get on this martini. I think that's a really good idea. If you like dirty martinis, drop me a comment. Peace. Got myself a little ice. Measure out a little bit of vodka. No, I'm really not gonna get hammered. I tried to buy a little bottle of quality vodka to bring. Couldn't do it. So anyway, this is what I had to bring. This will last me for 6 months. And this isn't quite a shot. Let's see what we got here. All right, a couple shots of that. And what makes it dirty martini? A little bit of olive juice. See how this tastes? I kind of screwed up and I bought olives with almonds in it. So let's get down with it, huh? All right. Marty, if you're watching this, it's not going to be as good as yours. I like a little bit of ice in it. I don't know how Frank Sinatra would order it. Sturdy martini, shaken hard. I don't know. Shaken, not stirred. All right. Oh, look at there. Don't have a martini glass, but one dirty martini. Right on. I'm gonna sit by that fire. Fireside and a martini. Yeah, this is a good night. Hey MCC, good morning. Life in the North Face tent. Wow, long night. Man, last night the wind is just cranking outside. I had to put earplugs in. It's blowing. Finally slept good, but there's some snow, dusting of snow. It was kind of sleety, kind of rain for a while, and then the temperature dropped. It was snowing. So it's about 7 o'clock in the morning. I fell back asleep. I screwed up. I should have had my little backpacking stove ready at the vestibule so I could make some coffee, sit in here and have some coffee. Be lazy. So got to get this stuff put up. Go see what we can see today. Welcome to my hotel. Oh man. Kind of like a planetarium. Wow. All right. Well, we'll see what's going on outside. I got to get up and make some coffee. Peace. Sowie stayed warm last night. Diesel heater. They're just blowing out of this baby. This is nice. That's what I'm talking about. Fruit of life right there, man. A little cream and sugar. These caps on these bottles, teaspoon. Took me 40 years to figure that out. All right, come on over and join me at the fire. Well, I lucked out and I found a big old stump to put on the fire before I went to bed. And there's still just enough of it left to be hot and hold the coals in.